The primary school, yes, I'm aware, and I'm sorry that this was brought to my notice. We did not have it actually in the schedule of those that were pending, because we would have done something, but I've seen it has been pending since 2019, 2020. It is only in the year 2020-2021 financial year that an allocation of 1 million was made at this particular primary school, and therefore there is a balance of 9 million. And what I have, Honorable Speaker, so now to be able to give to the entire country, and of course we must make sure that the money is equitably spread to all the schools in all the countries, all the counties in Kenya, is only 102 million to give to the various areas, because I must ensure that there is equity, and each and every county within the country, the 47 counties must be covered. So I have allocated you, because you can see the amount we have, the resources have been limited. So progressively we will be allocating depending on what we have. And the Honorable Speaker, this year I will have allocated 2 million to go to that particular school. And my good friend from Tharaka Nithi, by next week, if you pass through my office, you will be able to get confirmation that the money has actually been deposited in the school account. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Okay. Chair Education.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have, and I beg that you allow me to kindly ask Chair Education to place 2 questions to the CS. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The first question relates to what Senator Eddy has asked, and this is about preparation, Mr. Speaker, on the admission to grade 9, which the CS has handled very well. But my question to the CS is, what arrangements are there, even as we gear towards 2026, when we are going to admit the first lot in senior secondary school, that is grade 10. And why I ask this, or most specifically, for the CS to let the House know, Mr. Speaker, because we know that there are going to be 3 pathways in secondary schools as we know them today. There'll be STEM, there'll be arts and sports, and there'll be, if I'm not wrong, languages and business. So the clarification that I'm seeking, Mr. Speaker, is will we have specific schools offering specific pathways, or all schools at grade 10 will offer all the 3 pathways? That is my first question, Mr. Speaker. Number 2, and which concerns me as Chair Education, because people keep calling us, is from I think from an appearance by the PS Basic Education at the National Assembly, where he said that government or the ministry is being forced to reduce capitation to secondary school students, which has stood at over 22,000 some hundreds, Mr. Speaker. And now the PS reported that because of the growing numbers of students in secondary schools, that the ministry has been forced to reduce these to 17,000 Kenya shillings for every student. So my question then would be, because we know that the allocation to the Minister of Education actually was the highest this year, that is budgetary allocation, are there no internal mechanisms of seeing to it that we allocate more to capitation from whatever has been allocated, so that students continue receiving the 22,000 Kenya shillings, if not more? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let's get another question from Senator Oburu. Oburu Ondinga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I don't admire the CS in the position in which he is, because it is a very, very hot seat, Mr. Speaker. And I have two very quick questions, Mr. Speaker.
And because of time, more sensitive.
Mr. Speaker, on the Visa Oswald question brought by Honorable Sifuna, it appears the ministry has been losing successive cases to the Visa Oswald community, one after another. And now they have even gone to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court referred them to some environmental courts, and Mr. Speaker, they have lost again. Mr. Speaker, why put the 2,000 students in jeopardy? Why does the ministry consider, if you can't defeat them, join them? Why can't you consider, because that trustee is not individual, it is not private, it is for the community, that community called the Oswald community. Why don't you negotiate with them so that the school is managed by the public, by the ministry, in perpetuity, and they continue to be there calling themselves trustees, and the students are not jeopardized? Why don't you consider that option? Because we know schools where that happens, Mr. Speaker. If you allow me, Mr. Speaker, just on another question altogether, on the one of polytechnic, of TTCs.
It's a direct question. So
yeah, direct, Mr. Speaker. This is a direct question. What kind of representation do you have? Why do you keep on losing cases? Because I have a TTC in my own constituency, Bondo, where it was so clear I'm the one who paid for land, 10 acres for that TTC, and it was lost. They lost the case. What kind of representation do you really have legally for yourself? Why do you keep on losing such cases? And how many faculties are supposed to be in a TTC or a TTI? You call it TTI. In a TTI, how many faculties are you supposed to have? Because that one we have was supposed to have 5, and we only have building and civil engineering only. The others, like the others which were to be there are not mechanical, electrical, and all the others. They were supposed to be 5, and none of them is there. How many are supposed to be there in a TTI?
Senator Chute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine will be a very quick one. Under Article 43(1)(f) says that every person has the right to education. In Marsabit County, North Or constituency, there is a problem amongst the Muslim community and the board of North Or school on wearing of hijab. Is the minister aware that that problem, which has occurred in North Or, if yes, how is he going to solve that problem? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Next is Senator Milaj. Yes. Milaj.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Could the CS provide the current status of the recognition of prior learning RPL program that is supposed to identify, assess, and certify skills that were learned in informal sector? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Azena.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I just want to also ask if the CS can tell the House if he's aware that several schools have been closed in Samburu County due to insecurity, and if there are any emergency funds that have been set by his ministry to ensure that the schools in Samburu resume operation, and schools in other parts of the country where insecurity has led to closure of schools and displacements of students. Lastly, since the Minister of Roads is visiting Samburu on 22nd, I would also like to know that if the CS for Education has put among his plans a day to visit these affected areas in Samburu County to ascertain the level of displacement by insecurity of schools. Because, Mr. Speaker, about 5 schools and several ECDs are closed as we speak. Thank you.
Senator Ndama. That's the last one, then you can answer.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, ningependa kupata majibu kwa Mheshimiwa Waziri wa Elimu kuhusiana na katiba ya Kenya makala ya 189, ushirikiano kati ya serikali za ugatuzi na serikali ya taifa imeelezewa vile ambavyo wanaweza shirikiana. Mheshimiwa Spika, ratiba ya 4 sehemu ya 16 pia imegawa zile jukumu na serikali kuu na serikali ya ugatuzi. Ningependa kuelewa kutoka kwa waziri ni kwamba imekuwaje shule za sekondaria na pia shule za msingi kwa sasa zinajengwa na serikali za ugatuzi. Imekuwaje kuwa ya kwamba zile madarasa ya ECD ama ya kiwango kidogo ya chini sana hazijengwi kabisa na serikali za ugatuzi na serikali kuu haisumbuliwi na jambo hilo? Ningependa sana kujua ni vipi kama wako na ushirikiano ambayo wameshirikiana kati ya serikali kuu na serikali ya ugatuzi, waweze kutueleza. Asante.
Thank you. In excess of, because of time and the interest that I can see as this issue has generated, and the CS has some few minutes to answer the questions that you have asked, I will exercise standing under that 4-2A to extend this sitting for another 15 minutes. And then by 1:15 we should rise to close this session. So, Senator Omeneni, ask your question briefly and direct to the point.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to ask the CS whether the schools that were destroyed and devastated by the bandits in Turkana County have been constructed.
So, CS, you have various questions. You can just sum up your response to all of them.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. The first question is from the Senator from Murang'a, who is again my chair of the Education Committee. I would like to assure the House that all the necessary preparations, Honorable Speaker, for senior school, which will commence with effect from 2026, are in top gear. One, we have been able to look at the aspect of infrastructural development, and according to our assessment, because it will be 3 years, and even the number of classrooms and the apparatus we have in a number of our existing secondary schools is quite adequate. So they will be able to accommodate all our needs as far as infrastructural development is concerned. Again, Honorable Speaker, you can be able to confirm that this administration, ever since 2022, we have been able to put in place very good arrangements for teacher recruitment. Up to now, we have been able to recruit 56,750 teachers, right from primary to junior school all the way to senior school. And in order for us to be able to prepare these particular teachers to be properly equipped in matters of junior school and even senior school, we have undertaken a retooling, particularly on areas of pedagogy. We are also worked on the curriculum, not only for primary and junior school, but the KICD is also making the necessary preparation such that when we come to 2026, we should be able to have the curriculum in place. As rightly said, we will have 3 pathways. One is STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The other one is social sciences, commonly known as humanities. The other one is performing art, music, athletics. The purpose of having this, Honorable Speaker, is we are going to, like the years we went to school, you remember after Form 4, we used to have Form 5 and 6, where if you were good in sciences, or if you wanted to take a line in sciences, you were free to take that particular line, because we want to nurture talent. Not all of us can be talented in sciences, not all of us can be talented in humanities, and some of us are very good in athletics, in performing art, and we want to give and develop and nurture talent where it is identified that one is good in a certain area. We are kind of coming up with a plan, and we have come up with a sessional paper. The sessional paper will be discussed in the Parliament, but the many amendments that we have come up with emanating from the recommendations made by the Presidential Working Party. So it will have specific answers. There might be areas where we will have pure STEM. There might be areas where we might have broader mixture. A school is undertaking humanities and also undertaking pure sciences. But I don't want to preempt that particular debate, because I know the sessional paper, once it is discussed in Parliament, we should be able to specifically agree on which way to go. Concerning capitation, I think there was a question from the Honorable Senator of Kakamega, and in that particular question, I've been able to indicate specifically where we are as far as matters capitation are concerned, and I want again to confirm that, of course, government is committed to this, because these are issues which are enshrined in the Constitution. Article 53(1)(b), we cannot run away from it. In basic, that is in primary and secondary, we will continue giving capitation. Of course, the amounts which are supposed to be given in primary is 1,420 per annum. In the junior school, we are supposed to give 15,040 per annum per year, and in senior school, we are supposed to give 22,240. But for the last 6 years, because of the reducing allocations, if you see what I've given in that answer, from the year 2017-2018, the amount given was not exactly 22,000. It was, I think, 21. Progressively, as years have moved on, like last financial year, the amount we were able to give was 17,000 per annum. And we are having discussions with National Treasury on this. The Cabinet has been able to direct accordingly, because allocations to education are based on real numbers. The enrollment of our students, whatever level they are, such that it is based on that we are supposed to get allocations. And I think we are putting up a good case, because we think once the National Treasury and the Parliament allocates adequate resources, meaning we restore the figures as given way back from 2018 at the 22,000 for senior school and these other amounts for junior school, then our schools should not be able to undergo the kind of challenges that we are undergoing now. That is where we are, but moving forward, we are hoping that things will be better than they have been there before. The question from the Honorable Senator Oburu Dinga about rushing cases. Out of the 5 cases that we have had in court, Honorable Speaker, we were able to win 2 cases and we lost 3. You know, when you go to a court of law, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. So we are putting up a very, very serious fight, and we are hopeful, because, you know, when the ministry is taken to court, We also prepare the necessary required documents, and it is the Attorney General, as it were, who represents us in this particular area. So we are hoping that we are not going to let it go. Engagement with the local community members, you know, this particular school, before government came in and said no, parents should not be able to give an amount of money, it used to operate in a way, public school, government is giving everything, but there were individuals charging money, kind of school fees. Ever since the time we stopped this, that is when the problem came about, because we said they should not be able to charge parents because it's a public school like another. So that is why you see now the fight where they want to gain control of the school, where then it will be able to operate like a private school, kind of. The faculties in the TTIs, it depends and varies from one TTI to another, but we are encouraging all our TTIs that particularly technical courses, building and civil engineering, electrical, all those automotive, mechatronics, and of course, there are a few other business courses which also you find business, design and fashion, hospitality, you will find some doing agriculture. So it varies from one TTI to another, but we are encouraging that each and every TTI must have at least a minimum of 5 such faculties, programs, and that is why government this last financial year was able to employ 1,300 trainers. This year we are in the process of hiring another 2,000 trainers so that our TTIs can be well equipped as far as teaching and other equipment are concerned. We are also acquiring equipment this year, 71 of them, for 71 TTIs, such that they can also be able to have equipment in order to undertake all the required programs in any given TTI. I'm not aware about a case concerning Pondo, that again, we roasted that case. We have taken note of it, and I think we should be able to take it from there. Marsabit, I think the Honorable Senator knows that ever since my appointment, I've been in Marsabit 3 times. We have been able to engage with the local leaders very serious around matters education, and we have been able to agree on the way to go, including I was the chief guest in Marsabit during the education day, attended by including the local members of parliament and the governor, and I think what we agreed to do on matters education so that we are able to improve the quality and the performance, we will be able to cooperate in order for us to be able to do that. Samburu County, I'm aware there have been those cases, particularly Baringo and Turukana, and because of that, you are aware that we were able to give funds to Turukana schools. Honorable Senator can confirm. And
Just a minute, Honorable CS. What is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, a very quick one. My question was about Notor on the issue of hijab wearing in Notor. There's a problem, and that is what
I will answer that one.
Thank you very much.
I will answer that one. So, Samburu, probably I require to know the specific names of schools which have been closed down because of acts of banditry, and in cooperation with my colleague in internal security, we should be able to work on that. And where we have been able to remedy the situation, like areas in Baringo and Turukana, we have taken steps of reopening those schools. So, Madam, I think we can engage so that you tell me the specific schools, and we see what mitigating factors we can be able to undertake in cooperation with other agencies in government, and any particular means of internal security, so that we have the schools reopened as soon as possible. Honorable Speaker, recognition for prior running, I'm happy to report this House that this is a policy which has been running somewhere, but we have been able to take it up. We were able to engage public participation. We also took it to Cabinet. It was approved, and I'm rolling out that policy. The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya will be the chief guest on Friday, and it will give an opportunity for many of our young people, because there are so many people who are qualified. They have the skills and the competencies of making anything, but they don't have certification. So we are also now on that, and we should be able to start giving that with effect from Friday when we are rolling out that particular policy. I'm aware about the Marsabit. I've had a meeting because there are schools which were established by Catholic. There has not been any problem for many years, because those schools have been there for almost 20 years, if not more, and the Senator knows there was no problem. We had an isolated incident last year in one school, and I think there was a recurrence of the same this particular year. We have directed the local community, the Bishop of Catholic.
Honorable says we shouldn't be concluding.
So we have directed the local community to engage,
Maybe you are left
and I
with
hope
the
they should be able to
question
get an
from
amicable solution in this. Finally, my friend and the neighbor from Narok is that yes, we are distinct two levels of government, but we complement each other. And that is why I said, particularly on matters of ECD, we issue policy on matters where the county thinks that they can be able to come in and support an educational institution such as a primary or a secondary school. We cannot say no, but as you know, it is mainly the members of parliament who are able to support us as far as infrastructure is concerned. So we really collaborate and assist each other.
Maybe
Thank you.
in 10 seconds, you comment on Turkana schools.
Yeah, as I said, the Turkana schools, actually, we have been able to repute 5 schools. We gave 100 million to Turkana. The member of parliament is aware. I personally went to Turkana, and Honorable Speaker, I think some of those schools have been reopened.
Senator Romenen, you just confirm with the office, and also Senator Azena, you confirm with
Yes.
the CS
Thank
at
you.
his office.
Thank you.
So, Honorable CS, thank you very much for your time, for getting time to come to the Senate to answer the questions raised. And therefore, I want to release you so that we can conclude our business. Thank you so much indeed. There are questions which were directed to National Treasury, Lands, and Ministry of Interior. So those questions will be rescheduled, maybe from next week. Therefore, yes, I had mentioned that Bonnie Kalwal and in question, and in that it's already in the answer. So, Honorable Senators, having concluded the business for which you extended sitting pursuant to Standing Order 33-2A, the Senate stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, 20th March 2024 at 2:30 p.m.